Jnanakosha Vedas Atharvana Veda by pact.
ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः
Atharvana Veda based Upanishads, Atma Upanishad. Atma Upanishad or Atma Upanishad is one of the 108 Upanishadic Hindu scriptures written in Sanskrit language. It is one of the 31 Upanishads associated with the Atharvana Veda. It is classified as a Samanya Upanishad. The Upanishad is in prose and is presented as a sermon by the sage Angirasa about the three types of Atman: Atma, body, soul, and Paramatman, supreme soul. The Atma Upanishad begins with an invocation to the gods in general, and then specific deities are named: Indra, Surya, Garuda, and Brihaspati. The prayers seek blessings of eyes and ears to pray and offer obeisances, to give the reciter a lifespan that the divine being ordains, bestow goodness, and show the way to salvation. Sage Angirasa defines a person as manifested in three types of Atman: self, external Atman, body, the internal Atman, soul, and the Paramatman, the supreme Atman. The external Atman is composed of the anatomical organs and parts to see, perceive, act, react, and procreate. The external Atman, the physical body, is perishable. Angirasa explains that the inner Atman is perceived through the five elements: Prithvi, Apa, Vayu, Agni, and Akasha. It is also discerned by way of ambition, anger, fear, hatred, lascivious, and Maya illusion. The inner Atman recognizes memory, speech, shriekings or shouts made in high, medium, and low voice, and experiences fine arts of dance, music, and acting. It engages in sensory perceptions of hearing, smelling, tasting, thinking, and knowing. The inner Atman is conscious and distinguishes between scriptures like Puranas and Dharmasastras and philosophical schools like Nyaya and Mimamsa. Angirasa expounds that the Paramatma, the supreme Atman, as the one who is venerated by syllables of the Om. One meditates over him by practicing yoga, breath control, withdrawing in the mind, and other yogic exercises. Like the seed of the ficus tree or millet cannot be comprehended by even by breaking into 1 lakh parts, similarly Paramatma is indecipherable. He is interpreted to be as minuscule as 1 croreth of a seed. Paramatma, the Purusha, is indestructible and invisible. The neither takes birth nor dies nor decays. He cannot be divided, burnt, or destroyed. He is beyond the gunas qualities. He has no limbs, stains, or ambition, and is untouched by the feelings of the sensory organs. He is all pervading, who removes impurity, purifies the non pious, and for whom there is no effect of work. In the concluding part, the prayers offered at the invocation are repeated. Om, O Devas, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious. May we see with our eyes what is auspicious, O ye worthy of worship. May we enjoy the term of life allotted by the Devas, praising them with our body and limbs study. May the glorious Indra bless us. May the all-knowing Sun bless us. May Garuda, the thunderbolt for evil, bless us. May Brihaspati grant us well-being. Om, let there be peace in me. Let there be peace in my environment. Let there be peace in the forces that act on me. Now, Angiraha, the spirit, manifests itself in three ways: the self, the inner self, and the supreme self. There are the organs: the skin, inner and outer, flesh, hair, the thumb, the fingers, the backbone, the nails, the ankles, the stomach, the navel, the penis, the hip, the thighs, the cheeks, the ears, the brows, the forehead, the hands, the flanks, the head, and the eyes. These are born and these die, so they constitute the self. Next, this inner self is indicated by the elements earth, water, fire, air, ether, desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, desire, delusion, doubts, and memory. The high pitch and essencelessness, short, long, and prolate, the hearer, smeller, taster, leader, agent and self of knowledge, vice versa, stumbling, shouting, enjoying, dancing, signing and playing on musical instruments. He is the ancient spirit that distinguishes between Nyaya, Mimamsa, and the institutes of law and the specific object of listening, smelling, and grasping. He is the inner self. Next, the Supreme Self, the imperishable. He is meditated on with the help of the yogic steps, breath control, withdrawal of sense organs, fixation of mind, contemplation, and concentration. He is to be inferred by the thinkers on the self as like unto the seed of the banyan tree, or a grain of millet, or 100th part of a split hair. Thus is he one and not known. He is not born, does not die, does not drive, is not wetted, not burnt, does not trouble, is not split, does not sweat. He is beyond the gunas, is spectator, is pure, partless, alone, subtle, owning not, blemishless, immutable, devoid of sound, touch, color, taste, smell, is indubitable, non grasping, omnipresent. He is unthinkable and invisible. He purifies the impure, the unhallowed. He acts not. He is not subject to empirical existence. The good named the Atman is pure and one and non dual always in the form of Brahman. Brahma alone shines forth. Even as the world with its distinctions like affirmation, negation, Brahma alone shines forth. With distinctions like teacher and disciples, Brahma alone appears. From the point of view of truth, pure Brahma alone is neither knowledge nor ignorance, neither the world nor aught else is there. With such empirical life afoot, is the appearance of the world as real. What winds up empirical life is appearance as unreal. What discipline is required to know this is apart except the adequacy of the means of right knowledge. Once it is given the knowledge of the object, the ever present self shines when the means of its cognition. Neither place nor time nor purity is required. The knowledge I am Devadatta depends on nothing else. Similarly, the knowledge I am Brahman of the knower of the Brahman, just as the whole world by the sun, by the splendor of knowledge of Brahman, is everything illumined. What can illume the non existent and illusory non self? That which endows the Vedas, Shastras, Puranas, and all other beings with impart that knower what will illume. The child ignores hunger and bodily pain and plays with things. In the same way, the happy Brahma knower delights without the sense of mine and I. Thus, the silent sage, alive and alone, the embodiment of desirelessness, treats the objects of desire. Existing as the self of all, he is ever content, abiding in his self. Free from all wealth, he rejoices always. Though companionless, he is mighty. Though not eating, he is ever content. Fearless, he looks on all alike. Though acting, he does nothing. Though partaking of fruit, yet he is no experiencer thereof. Living in a body, he is still disembodied. Though determinate, he is omnipresent. Never is this Brahma knower disembodied and ever existent, affected by the pleasant and the unpleasant, or by the good and the evil. Because it appears to be encompassed by Rahu, the unencompassed sun is said to be encompassed by deluded men, not knowing the truth. Similarly, deluded folk behold the best of Brahma knowers liberated from the bondage of body, as though he is embodied, since he appears to have a body. The body of the liberated one remains like the shed slough of the snake, moved a little hither and thither by the vital breath. That body is borne like a piece of timber up and down by the flood waters. By fate is the body born into context of experiences at appropriate times. On the contrary, he who, giving up all migrations, both knowledge and unknowable, stays as the pure, unqualified self, is himself the manifest Shiva. He is the best of all Brahma knowers. In life itself, the foremost Brahma knower is the ever free. He has accomplished his end. All adjuncts having perished, being Brahma, he is assimilated to the non-dual Brahma. Like a man who, with appropriate apparels, is an actor and without them resumes his natural state. In the same way, the best Brahma knower is always Brahma alone and none else. Just as space becomes space itself when the enclosing pot perishes, so when particular cognitions are dissolved, the Brahma knower himself becomes nothing but Brahma. As milk poured into milk, oil into oil, and water into water become milk, oil, and water. Just as combined they become one, so does the Atma knowing sage in the Atman. Thus, disembodied liberation is the infinite status of being. Having won the status of Brahman, no longer is the yogin reborn. For his ignorance born bodies have all been consumed by the experimental knowledge of being as the self. Because that yogin has become Brahman, how can Brahma be reborn? Bondage and liberation set up by Maya are not real in themselves in relation to the self, just as the appearance and disappearance of the snake are not in relation to the stirless rope. Bondage and liberation may be described as real and unreal, and as due to the nescience concealment of truth. Brahma suffers from no concealment whatsoever. It is uncovered, there being nothing other than it. It covers it. The ideas it is and it is not as regards reality are only ideas in the intellect. They do not pertain to the eternal reality. So bondage and liberation are set up by Maya and do not pertain to the self. In the supreme truth, as in the sky, imperitite, inactive, quiescent, and flawless, unstained and non-dual, where is room for mental construction. Neither suppression nor generation, neither the bond nor the striving, neither the liberty seeking nor the liberated. This is the metaphysical truth. O Devas, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious, may we see with our eyes what is auspicious. O ye worthy of worship, may we enjoy the term of life allotted by the Devas, praising them with our body and limbs steady. May the glorious Indra bless us, may the all-knowing sun bless us, may Garuda, the thunderbolt for evil, bless us. May Brihaspati grant us well-being. Om, let there be peace in me, let there be peace in my environment, let there be peace in the forces that act on me. Here ends the Atmopanishad as contained in the Atharva Veda.